Good morning. I just woke up. Put some eggnog in my coffee and thought I would come on here and tell you guys all Happy Veterans Day. This is the only content for today. I'm not doing anything else. I slept in. So that being said, just wanted to say Happy Veterans Day. If you know a veteran, tell him Happy Veterans Day. I'm not that guy you have to thank for his service. I enjoyed every minute of it. But it's Veterans Day. Find a veteran, tell them Happy Veterans Day. It'll make their day. So that's pretty much the entire content of this. What's everybody else doing? What's everybody doing on their Veterans Day? Let's see if I can find a... There we go. That works. Let me see. Let's see. All live chat. I haven't seen anybody say anything. No comments. So, I think, well, thank you. I think I'm going to spend the day possibly playing video games. I don't know. It's my holiday. This is the one I take. So, that's the plan for today. I think I'll play Red Dead Redemption all day today. I don't know. My wife might have... I dropped something. My wife might have other plans for us today. Not 100% sure. Then with the Palm Springs yesterday, we went to Knott's Berry Farms the day before. I think they need rest. Well, the wife didn't go to Knott's Berry Farms, but the daughter and I did. I think the daughter needs a rest. Guys, I can't tell you how good Nico is at this. So this was all black before, and I had my little short buddy hydrographic and dip this. There's stuff that he can do that I can't do. I keep forgetting to do that in videos. There's a lot of stuff that if like you want something special and specific, it's got to go to Nico. There's stuff that he can do on scales for knives that I can't do because that's their whole business. So, like I said, if you've got something that you want, something that I can't do, like I love this rattlesnake pattern on my TDI. So that's one of those things. I really would like to see him get more business to do stuff like this. Not just the cabinets. I mean, he can do anything. Oh, my back hurts. Roller coasters at my age. So it's not a definite yet. So you guys know. You guys that follow my channel. You remember the family trip I took when my in-laws came last year, New Year's time frame. And we went to Las Vegas. You guys know I don't like Las Vegas. And I said that when I went to Las Vegas the first time, that I wasn't going back, and I went the second time with my in-laws, and I said, well, that's 2 more trips than anybody needs to make to Las Vegas. There's a chance I'm going back to Las Vegas in January. What's up, Jason? I was just telling him about the possibility of the Vegas TKI trip. So, for those of you who don't know, Jason is the one that sent me to the trip in Anaheim for the Cali Custom Show. And we're talking about doing the same thing for TKI. So, this is going to be short. I just got up, took the dog for a walk, just wanted to do a Happy Veterans Day thing. I do know there's a lot of veterans out there that watch my channel. Thank you guys for your service as well. I've never been that guy that liked the thank you for your service. I never needed that. I loved every minute of my military career. Well, not every minute, I'm not gonna lie, but looking back in retrospect, I love it now. There were moments, and there was a couple years there, when you're first starting, you don't necessarily like everything about your choice in joining the military, but as the years progressed. Those first couple years were rough, I'm not gonna lie. First couple years were rough, but then I acquired a love for my job. And then I went to a crappy command and I had 2 years left. I had, what, 3 years left? 3 years left. Left that command, had 3 years left on my enlistment. And no, I had 2. I had to obla serve. Had to obla serve for 2 years, or for 1 year to do my 3-year shore rotation. And so I only had 2 years left. I extended for a year, and while I was at that command, I found an utter passion for my job that you could not. I was gonna get out. I was gonna get out. I was an E5, I was gonna get out. I was disenchanted. I had a bad command, had a bad chain of command. And so I kind of lost that zest and that love for it for a little while. And I found it all over again. I had an awesome guy I worked for, a guy named Chief Bruce McClintock. And Bruce showed me that you can love this job, and the bullshit of the military was just what you had to put up with for having such an awesome job. There was bullshit in it, not gonna lie. But after that point, never looked back, never thought. Space Dust IPA. You guys wanna hear something funny? Nico and I have isolated what happened to us, especially me, in Portland. We did not drink very much that trip to Portland. So the day that we flew up, we didn't drink very much. Way less than Nico and I normally will drink on a Friday. And then I'll be back at the shop on a Saturday morning. Bright and bush-tailed, fucking no problem. We drank that Space Dust. And then I got to thinking about it. So Nico stayed at my house a Friday night here not too long ago. And we had drank a couple of Space Dust IPAs, not enough to even impair driving. Drove, came back to my house. Nico stayed here. We went back to the shop Saturday, and I was sick all day Saturday with, I felt like a hangover, but like I said, we didn't drink really that night. We did a lot of work. And so I started putting 2 and 2 together. Every time I drink Space Dust IPA, I wake up the next morning. It doesn't matter if I only have one. I wake up the next morning and my head is throbbing. I feel like shit. My stomach hurts. And I just generally don't want to do anything. So I'm not drinking any more Space Dust IPA, which sucks because I love the Space Dust IPA. There's just something in it. There's something in it that triggers a migraine the next morning. And I'm just nauseous. I just want to stay in bed. I went back through it, and all the times that Nico and I could think of that I didn't drink enough that I should feel like shit the next day, I had drank that Elysian Space Dust IPA. So I think I'm gonna stick with other beverages. But I do know that there's other things that I cannot drink. One of them really sucks. I love Crown Royal Maple. I love Crown Royal Maple, and I started drinking that for a while, and then I just noticed that if I got to a point, after I'd bought a few bottles of it, I really liked it, and I would drink it all the time. And then I started, you know, have one drink. I'd pour it in my coffee, and I'd have that, and the next thing you know, I'm in bed with a pillow over my head. There's something in that. I was trying to figure it out. There was something in that Crown Royal Maple, and the only addition to it's that maple flavor. Well, then I noticed that if I ate anything else maple flavored, I had the same thing. So I'm allergic to whatever the artificial maple flavor is that they use in certain things. I can't have it, which is bad because I truly, truly love that Crown Royal Maple. Not a fan of the apple. It's not good, but I do love that Crown Royal Maple. But it's Veterans Day. It's my holiday. Hang on a moment. Ain't no goddamn reason I can't have a beer at, well, it's almost 8:30. It's almost 8:30 in the morning on a Monday. It is a holiday, though. So, guys, I don't know if you guys saw it on Instagram. I have a bunch of knives up for sale at reasonable prices. There's one of them in there that has never been used. as then they rightly should. No one should drink King Cobra. So one that has not been posted up, I'm gonna show it to you guys. I am going to show you guys something. I bought this on a whim. It is a, since it's backwards, Cold Steel Gravity Paradox. This is never, I got it on a whim. I did sharpen it, but it has never been, it's new in box. The only thing that was ever done to it was sharpening, and I did not like, I thought it was gonna be a little easier to manipulate. Never carried it. Brand new in box. Anybody's interested, I have not figured a price for it yet, but this was a, I was still active duty when I bought this, so I've been retired for 9 years. This thing's at least 9 years old, never been carried. So anybody that's interested in that, let me know. Brad, your knives are here, Brad. I'm sorry the other day when you called, I wasn't even close to the house. Go find my Instagram. I have a Cold Steel, I have a Cold Steel fixed blade Hunter that I'm never gonna carry. It was one that I bought, I think I paid $400 for it. It's all leather sheath, stuff like that. It's the Cold Steel Pendleton Custom, what is it? The Custom Classic, that's what it is. The Pendleton Custom Classic. Really nice hunting knife, but I don't hunt anymore. I've got a couple of, I got a custom knife that's up. I have that Pentagon Elite 2, the big one that's up for sale. All of them are gonna come with, my buddy already bought, I put this one up on Instagram and it went like instantly. So this has got to get sharpened and go to New Zealand. Let's see. I was thinking about selling this one, but my daughter absolutely is, this is hers. I can't. She loves the blade. She's not a fan of the color. She loves the blade. She's not a fan of purple, but she loves the Damascus hand hammer. So this one's staying with her. But there's a Stag handled custom. This came back in the mail. And I've been setting it in the sun to charge up those scales so that I can get a good, there's still some touch up. I still have a little bit of overlap here. This rock pattern's got to go, and then the blade has got to get refinished before I sharpen it. And there's still a couple little gaps in this. A couple of them I don't think I can rectify. It's because the way I had to cut the stone pattern in and everything. But yeah, this one's gonna get done here next few days. And I got word back from WE. All parties involved have signed the agreement. So not sure how that's all gonna play out, but guys, the production Hornets are coming sometime. So I got an email from them with the fully signed, both parties signed thing. Not gonna get into the financials of it, but for every knife that gets sold, I get a portion of the MSRP, and then I get paid on a quarterly basis, depending on sales numbers. So I think it's a really good design. At this point, the big difference between them is going to be the steel. There's gonna be some jimping back here. This point is a little different. There's been some little minor modifications. There's a little bit of jimping here, but not here, so that you can get your hand still in there and stuff. And Charles, yours is done. I did not make it to the shop yesterday to even start the modification on your Master Blaster, but I do agree that that last finish I did would look amazing on that, and it would replicate the Swedish flag a lot. So I think this is about my happiest I've ever been with a knife, is this one right here. What was that? What steel are they using? Not sure yet. We just opened, they have not even started a sample batch yet. So I'm gonna get this one up to the shop and get it sharpened and completely finished and out to my buddy Pip sometime this week. That is the total and utter plan. This one is as perfect as I'll ever get a knife, I think. With that. Here. Let's take a look at it. How's the signal by the reception, by the way? So the plunge, it's hard to get a good head on at it. So the plunge is pretty much perfect. The lines are the same on both sides. Let's see here, gotta focus. And for the fact that I'm not ever hoping to be like a full-time knife maker, I'm happy about the fact I've had custom knives come in that were done by makers that are way more experienced, and they have a thickening here. And I 100% attribute that to a little trick that 2 people taught me. Mr. Bob Terzuola gave me a little tip that greatly changed the way that I ground, and that was, you don't just move your arms, because your arms, if you move just your arms, you're gonna move in an arc, and your blade is going to want to hit, and you're gonna have a curvature, and you're gonna have some weirdness going on. And he was like, you put it against, and you move your whole body at your knees, and you can get a straighter line, and you'll get straighter grind. I was like, wow, it's amazing. And the other one was, Elliot told me not to start at the plunge. So when you go up to the plunge, instead of trying to start here and keeping that plunge straight, you start here, where most people have that thickening. You start there, you work your way back, you come back across it, you work your way to the tip. You start in the middle, and that's how you avoid getting that thick spot, and you wind up with a better distal taper that way. Now, somebody just asked a question. What's the geo behind the edge, and what degree do you grind your knives? I don't know, they're freehand. See? That's the thing. People are like, oh, what angle? Who gives a shit what the angle is? I do it freehand. I don't use a jig. There is no jig. This is just the angle. It's thin, though. I don't have a set of calipers here, but I mean, it's thin behind the edge, but there's a lot of material to support it, and I leave a little bit here. Let's see here. So you can see it's thin behind that edge. It has not been sharpened yet, but I leave a little bit of material at the tip because I know what guys do, and that's how they break the tips off knives. So if you see, I've left a little bit of material at the tip, and the rest of it is really thin, and I just left some material to tip for guys that wind up prying and they break tips off knives, and oops. So, but I have no idea what the edge geometry is behind that. It's pretty much a full flat grind that I leave a little bit of space on the back for guys that need fixtured systems. Yes, David, I got your knives. Big box of knives. David sent me some pretty nice knives. I have got to do some refinish on them as well. I have to get with Pip. I told them specifically, and Elliot and I rendered it in, well, Elliot rendered, I talked to him. We did the measurements on one of those that was fairly thin behind the edge. We did the measurements on that, and then he basically set that in so that I told him I didn't want it super thick. But the fact is, it's going to be thick stock. It's going to come down. So it's going to be thick behind the edge, but with that being pretty much a full flat grind, it's not a full flat grind. It's a flat grind. It's more akin to a saber, but not quite. It's a lot like, I mean, it's the same kind. You can tell. Like I don't do a hollow. I do flat grinds. You can kind of tell by looking at knives, kind of the people that have they've gotten some tutelage from. Like if you look at Jim Skelton's knives, you can tell that he and Todd Begg get together, and he's gotten some tutelage from him because of the way his plunge comes. It's a swept up, and there's a big wide spot. Now that's his choice. It's an aesthetic thing. For somebody that's sharpening a knife, it makes it a pain, because then you get that ugly line where you're just brushing up against an area that never will get sharp. There's other guys, like you can see guys that have, like the guy that studied under, I can't think of his name, Sharko Knives. There's a guy that studied under him. You can kind of pick up on those things. But guys, I'm not going to stay on here any longer. I just wanted to wish all of you guys that do serve or have served a happy Veterans Day. Yeah, Shark Knife Co. Not Gavco. Gavco, you can always tell a Gavco knife. You can pick them out of a fucking lineup, just like you can a Ferrum Forge. Somebody was saying that, like, you know what? Ferrum Forge, they only, like, all their knives, their designs are pretty much the same. And I was like, there's two reasons for that. There's two reasons for that. One is that, yeah, you can tell too, Masakas, but you can tell a Ferrum Forge knife. Well, there's kind of reasons why they stick with that aesthetic. They found things dimensionally that work, and they found the comfort, the way let's put it this way, the way a Ferrum Forge knife feels in hand, you're pretty much going to get that feel from like almost all their knives. They have a couple that have some different designs and shapes, but you're going to get that same feel, and you're going to wind up with that same you're going to wind up with that same feel, and so that lends itself to the aesthetic being pretty similar on a lot of their knives. What was that? Barry here, just want to thank you for your service. Mike will be seeing your knife in the near future. Cool. George, I'm glad you're happy with the Crux. There was some... I would have had to have started over and charged George an exorbitant amount of money. Sometimes it's really hard to get the masking the way you want it, and not get a little bit of an overcoat of some of the other colors. And so his Crux had some spots where there was black where I didn't want it, but the only way to do it would have been to start completely over. So we talked about it, and we just agreed that it would have been crazy expensive. It would have almost doubled the cost, because, you know, I'm doing what the customers want, but that's not what this video is about. That's not what this video is about. Happy Veterans Day. You guys take it easy. If you see a veteran, give him a hug, tell him thank you. Take it easy. I'll talk to you guys later. I gotta find it. Where's it at? Here it is. Later, guys.